there, I'm Teagarden, and this is episode 79 of the Unveiled podcast. Thanks so much for joining me today. Now, I don't know about you, but I get so frustrated with my husband and teens sometimes. I sometimes just feel like I want to explode. I get stuck and I feel helpless when I'm frustrated like that. You ever feel that way? I noticed in my journal recently when I was going back reading my entries that God had been talking to me a lot about frustration lately. So I wanted to share some of what I'm learning about how to move beyond frustration. So several months ago, my sister and I were visiting my dad in Florida, and we were about to head out to dinner when my stepmom used the little half bath downstairs and reported that the toilet was clogged. So I went in to take a look and I saw that there was water on the floor. So I ran off to get some raggy towels. And when I returned, there was way more water on the floor than when I had gone to get the towels. The water had not only run over the top, but now it was starting to leak out around the base of the toilet. So we were kind of freaking out, but thankfully we were able to turn the water shutoff valve to stop that nasty water from spewing out all over. It was a huge mess to clean up. We used so many towels and I just kept washing my hands like 5 times before they felt clean enough to me. And I think this is what frustration is like. It's like a clog in a drain that keeps things from moving forward. Frustration causes us to react. My frustration causes me to overreact. And it's like the clogged drain of the toilet. Nothing is moving forward, so I just spew gross words all over, and it's a heck of a mess to clean up afterward. So what's the point? Well, the point is that frustration is not helpful. So we need to not stay in that place of frustration. I actually looked up the definition of frustration, and the dictionary.com says the feeling of being upset or annoyed, especially because of the inability to change or achieve something. It also said the prevention of the progress, success, or fulfillment of something. In other words, we feel frustrated when we can't achieve or change something, or we feel prevented in moving forward. And that's it, isn't it? We're stuck. I used to just sit in that feeling of frustration, or I would keep trying to push a square peg into a round hole, getting more and more frustrated. And neither one of those was effective, as you can imagine. Whenever I became frustrated, my good friend Monica would always ask me, well, what is the blocked goal here? That's a great question. Once I identified the blocked goal, I could then focus on the goal rather than the frustration. Is there any other way to get to this goal? Do I need a different goal? It opens up all new possibilities, and it often showed me that I was actually trying to control things that I had no control over. There is no need to be frustrated about things you have no control over. It's like exhausting yourself trying to move a brick wall. And who needs that, right? Think about it. When you've been frustrated for a while, don't you feel like totally worn out? It is just like you've been trying to move a brick wall all day, especially if your frustration is with a stubborn person. I'm sure you can relate. But control is an illusion. Even God doesn't control everyone because he gave us free will. And if he doesn't control people or run their lives, maybe we shouldn't try to control others either. All right, back to the overflowing toilet. We couldn't get the toilet to unclog, so we had to call the plumber. The plumber came a few days later and determined the septic tank was full, thus the backflow and the overflow. And isn't that the cause of our frustration sometimes? We're full. We've been bottling up resentment and frustration until one little thing makes us spew all over. And until we pump out that backlog or take a different direction, nothing is going to move forward. God told me in one of my journal entries, each night, clear your heart of all frustration. Forgive and let go of any grievances from the day. Let go of all resentment. My mercies are new every morning. Let yours be too. Whoa. Let my mercies be too. I need to have new mercies for my husband and teens and any other difficult person in my life every morning. That's so much easier if I've cleared my heart of frustration at the end of the former day. And here's another perspective on frustration that Jesus shared in a journal entry. Frustration is trying to hold on to and solve things yourself. Let go. Put them in my hands. The only thing you can do is surrender it to me and leave it in my hands. Praying about it in a way as to tell me what needs to happen to fix it is still trying to fix it and being manipulative. If it's out of your hands, know that it's in mine and have faith in my wonder-working power. Yeah, we're trying to control it through prayer. That reminds me of Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, which is one of my all-time favorite verses that I say to myself all the time. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. I find it's our own understanding that often trips us up. Another word from Jesus, give all your frustrations to me and allow me to do something about them. Allow me to give you my perspective on the situation. Sometimes we have to stop getting bogged down in the minutia of a situation and take a larger or longer view. And asking for God's perspective can sometimes melt the frustration away instantly. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Sometimes we're frustrated because things aren't going the way we think they should or want them to go. Someone isn't doing what we told them to do or want them to do. But God can make a way if we don't lean on our own understanding. God can work whatever is happening for the greater good. Or maybe in the larger view, this really won't matter in a few days. Sometimes I expend energy on things that aren't very important. Have you ever seen a husband and wife arguing a detail of a story that's been told and you're thinking, who cares? It doesn't affect the story. Or have you ever been one of those people? I have. So silly, really. So if you're feeling frustrated, what do? First, realize that frustration is only a red flag that there's a blocked goal somewhere. So stop, take a deep breath, and let go of that frustration. Choose to not stay frustrated. Remember, it's not helpful and it's a waste of your energy. And I'm talking to myself here too. Second, try to identify what is the blocked goal. Acknowledge that you can't control things and you don't want to be manipulative. Ask God for his perspective and then leave the problem in his hands. And third, move in the opposite spirit. If the person you're frustrated with is being stubborn, try to be flexible. If they are getting angry at you, give them pleasantness back. If you're feeling impatient, practice patience. But most of all, don't stay focused on the frustration. Call a timeout for yourself if necessary, and then go through these steps. What is the blocked goal? Let go of frustration and seek God's perspective in this situation. Place the situation in God's hands and trust him to solve it in his way, in his time. I will leave you with these last words that God shared with me. He said, entrust things to me. Seek my guidance. Rest your soul in me. May this week have few frustrations for you, but those that you run into, may God make a way where there seems to be no way. If this was helpful, please leave a comment and share it with a friend. I'd appreciate that. Go in peace, my friend.